This is Jess, Wes, and our daughter Izzy. After selling our house and most of our possessions at the end of 2021, we've packed up our van Bevan to tour Australia. We are Life is VANderful.
Hashtag dad joke.
So we left Eyre Peninsula this morning, our last town being Whyalla. So we had a look at the jetty there yesterday, and then this morning we gave Bev a good old wash. And then we've started making our way towards Clare now to try some of the Clare Valley famous wines. And it's been the most beautiful drive that we've had in a long time, which might be partly because of this beautiful sunshine we've finally been blessed with. We've had on-off rain and clouds since Perth, so it's just been stunning. We've seen little lambs frolicking with their mums, old stone buildings, some intact, canola fields again, so just those beautiful seas of yellow, and really quaint little towns. So we stopped in one for just not far from Melrose. We stopped there for a cup of coffee and a stroll through town. And now we're stopping for the night in a place called Laura, which apparently gives you scones and creams on arrival. So, well, here's Wes now. Have we got scones and cream?
Beg your pardon?
Have we got scones and cream?
No.
Aww.
No, it's a Monday. I don't think she...
Oh, maybe it's a weekend thing.
Friendly on the wiki camps, but she had a case of Mondayitis.
I guess it's just a cup of tea and a biscuit then. So when we didn't get scones, and we found out that Laura is actually a town where they make this ice cream, Giant Twins, Izzy and I thought we would share it, which was really good. And it was a perfect sharing size. It breaks in two. We got the honey flavour. So yeah, it's actually made here in the town of Laura. So we got that and some homemade cookies. And then guess what? The people in the campsite showed up and we got scones too.
Yay!
Yay! This is a naughty afternoon. They look good. Do you like it?
I love scones.
Well, thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers, honey.
Nice glasses. We're at Shut the Gate Winery in Clare Valley, and we've just found Isabel a gingerbread man. I know you were supposed to be here looking for wine. She's obsessed with the Gingerbread Man book at the moment. And it's a vegan gingerbread man, so not that we're vegan, but this is one of the only vegan places in the Clare Valley if you're looking for like a nice platter to go with your wine. So if that means something to you, then definitely stop here because the wine is sensational.
And it may or may not be before midday, but we're having a glass of wine.
It's 12 o'clock somewhere, right?
Correct.
So we tried the Gewürztraminer and the what was the other one?
The Sauv Blanc.
And the For Love Sauv Blanc.
So we're following something called the Epicurean Way, which we're doing it very, very roughly, but it sort of starts in Clare Valley. So here's the little flyer that we've got. Starts in Clare Valley, which is where we are now. Go through a couple of wineries, and then it sort of winds its way down towards the Barossa, and then into the Adelaide Hills, and then further down towards McLaren Vale. So we've already done McLaren Vale, but we haven't done Barossa. So using this as a bit of a guide, a lot of good food places, a lot of good wineries. So they're all things that we enjoy. So we're gonna head to those places and use this as a rough guide. And it's really good leaflet. It speaks about the highlights, so makes it easy to choose things because there's so many wineries, so many places to go. But this sort of narrows it down. So we found that really useful. And they also have something called the Seafood Way, which sort of winds its way through Eyre Peninsula where we've just been. There's a few of these sort of foodie, winey sort of tours that you can take throughout South Australia, and they all have these leaflets, which is handy for planning your travels. We're at Hill Cellars, just south of Clare. Jesuit Church that's on site at the Seven Hills Winery.
So we had plans this morning to do the Riesling bike trail, which is an old rail trail through Clare Valley, and we were going to try a few more wineries. But the weather had other plans. We've woken up and it is peeing down with rain. So we are at Martindale Hall today, which is an old historic house, or should I say mansion, and it feels like you're stepping straight into a Cluedo board. It's really cool. And then after that, we're going to get our passports and do something just a little bit different. So stay tuned.
We're at Martindale Hall, and this was built in 1880, and it was built with labourers that were imported, if you like, or brought over from England because of their workmanship and their know-how for building limestone structures to make sure it was done well. And this place was also used in the Australian movie Picnic at Hanging Rock, which is quite a famous Australian movie. And even though Hanging Rock's in Victoria and we're in South Australia, they use this house for a lot of the scenes apparently. So it's been a good break to do something like this while the weather's a bit inclement. And then next up, as Jess said as well, we're going to go get our passports and do something a little bit different. Shall I pick up these two hitchhikers? Not randoms.
Where are we going? So in the historic town of Burra, you can come to the visitor centre and get a passport, and that is also a key which helps you unlock a whole bunch of historic buildings here in town. So I've been told this place has the best Cornish pasties. So we have our Cornish pasties and our key and our passport, and it's time to start exploring. Was it good?
It's good. It's nice and warm on a cold day.
Gotta put the key in. Put the key in. That's it. Good girl. And we turn it. Which way do we turn it? Okay, now we push the door. Push, push, push.
Standing in the Unicorn Brewery. No word yet on whether it is a brewery for beer or brewing unicorns. Hashtag dad joke. It's actually a huge collection of underground tunnels under here. Hope we don't get lost.
It's a pretty cool town to explore, these little old buildings and the cellar and everything. But we think it would be better if there's a little bit more information within the museums. So we do have a guidebook, but nothing's marked, so you don't really know like what the purpose of this thing is, for instance. And also we got like given a guidebook, but we thought we were going to get a passport which you could stamp. We thought that would make it extra cool, so maybe they'll see this video and do that in future.
So we've just done the Market Square Museum, the cottage and the cellars. We'll head to the mine site next. And this is the engine house. They used to have a pump in here to pump all the water out of the mines. And here's an example I prepared earlier. It's on the top floor of the engine house, extremely windy. And we're out on a balcony 3 stories high, and you've got a good view of the mine across the way here. And for those of you playing at home, you are correct. It is a copper ore mine, in case you're wondering. It's just started to spit here and thunder as well. So it'll be a great place to get the drone up and have a look around, but it is so windy. Hopefully you can hear me at the moment. And also the thunder on its way and rain, so might have to give that a miss. So I'm standing in the powder magazine room with all its echo acoustics, and apparently this is Australia's oldest mine building that's still around, erected in the 1840s, and it was used to keep all the dynamite and powder or gunpowder to use as explosives to blast the mine site. Driven a little bit further down the road, and now we're at the police lockup and stable. I think I might be staying in the cell. It's a very hard door to open. Might need 2 hands for this, might have to turn the camera off. Made it out.
Redruth Jail opened in 1856 and was the first major prison outside of metropolitan Adelaide. Redruth fell into disuse, but then in 1897 it was reopened as a girls' reformatory to lock up bad girls. So this is where you were sent if you were a very bad girl. So some girls were just caught swearing, destroying government property and exposing themselves in their bloomers. And they were sent here where they were locked up for a week, only let out to do chores and handcuffed for 12 hours a day, which seems like pretty strict punishment. So we thought we'd wrap up our experience yesterday doing our walk around Burra Historic Village with our passport. I thought it was a really good experience. It got better the more we went along. We started with a few smaller things like a cottage and a little shop, which probably wasn't overwhelmingly exciting. But then when we moved on to things like the engine house and the mine, that was pretty incredible.
Yeah, it was a good way of sort of seeing what life was like back in the 1800s when they came to the area and had to build everything from scratch, and the town and the mine and the police lockups and the jail and all those things. So yeah, it was good insight and a good sort of unique way of doing it with the key and going in yourself and exploring those places. So that was fun.
The mine's all filled in now. It's like a beautiful sort of lake. It looks very enticing. And a lot of the buildings are so intact still, which is pretty impressive, except for the last thing on the list we were going to go see, which was the township. We sort of didn't bother. That was very in ruins. The other thing we'd suggest about it is maybe, I think it'd be really fun for kids if you actually, the way we understood it was you got a passport, but really it's just a book about each location, each landmark. But we thought it'd be really cool if kids actually did get like a passport and they could stamp at each place. That would make it really fun, a bit treasure huntish. Yeah, but apart from that, yeah, definitely worth the, what was it, $25 entry. Yeah.
And then today it keeps changing. We have on and off days where it's been brilliant sun, then a lot of rain like yesterday, and then today it's turned out to be extremely sunny, which is completely against what the forecast has been saying. So we're trying to prepare for what we're going to do each day based on the forecast, but it's been the exact almost polar opposite every day. So but yeah, we welcome the sun, and now we're in the Barossa.
So unfortunately we've gone past the bike trail now, which is what we would have done on a day like today. So this morning though, we stopped at a really nice town called Greenock for some beautiful pastries. So that's part of the Epicurean Way tour. So yeah, amazing pastries and coffee. And now we are at Seppeltsfield. I want to say. Okay. And it's a winery quite well known for its port, so we might go do some tastings.
All different wines and stuff. Yeah, it's absolutely massive winery. But we'd come here for the ports, haven't we?
Yeah, and they've got jam factory and what else attached here as well? Art gallery as well. So we'll go have a look.
Called the studios inside the jam factory, and they have lots of individual artists, little shops here that you can come and browse, like jewellery, leather maker, all those type of things. So we're just here in the Barossa Valley, and we've just come across this house on wheels, as they're calling it. This is from 1931. It's almost 100 years old. A I guess the first sort of van life type vehicle that they had here. And this van, as I said, 1931, it went on a 6,500 kilometre trip, round trip from Adelaide to Brisbane and back, through the outback via Broken Hill. And it was, yeah, they had a kid with them, and they had a fold-out seat on the front. And yeah, so sort of similar, almost 100 years apart to what we're doing. And yeah, just amazing to see that it was happening all these years ago. And they certainly didn't have sat nav to get around. They had a compass, and yeah, no DVD player for the kids. So just arrived at Maggie Beer's farm shop, and Jess got swooped by a magpie. So
Least favourite animal in the world.
So we were going to do what they have, a farm walk here, but now just become a mad dash to the shop to get away from the rain and the magpies. Coffee awaits. Outdoor pizza oven goals. I don't think the leaf springs on Bevan look like this. As we mentioned, we're at Maggie Beer's farm shop, and this is the eatery, which is a restaurant you can come to, also do cooking classes. And Maggie Beer's a sort of semi-famous Australian chef, and now we're going here to the farm shop, which has lots of produce, and also to get a coffee.
So we thought whilst we're in Barossa we had to stop in at one of the most famous Barossa wines, which is Penfolds. And I think you probably see it in bottle shops. You always see the bin this, bin that, and I found out today, finally, it stands for batch identification number. Tried some really great batches. Favourite was probably a really nice Shiraz from 1960, and some really nice Tawny here as well. So Wes and I took turns again going in for some tastings. Also an interesting fact is that Penfolds do some really beautiful whites, but they've only been doing whites since the early 1990s. And one of the ones that we liked the best was their Riesling, which we don't normally love. And that actually comes from the Adelaide Hills, because the grapes need to be a lot colder than what they would get normally here in the Barossa, which is supposed to be lovely and sunshiny, although it is freezing cold today. So you can imagine that grapes would do okay in today's climate. Anyway, enough wine talk. I don't want to bore you to death with all that. We are now going to go do something fun for Izzy. We're going to go do some 10-pin bowling. Her first time doing some bowling. I think she'll love it. We'll see how it goes.
So here at the Barossa Valley Chocolate Company, no stop will be complete about Wes and Jess getting chocolate, and it is just starting to bucket down, so better run. Jess running to go get chocolate.